Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the Major League Baseball games for Monday, September 2nd, 2024. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, as well as my college football and NFL season passes, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for the Labor Day card in Major League Baseball. First up, the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Andre Pallante and Freddie Peralta are your starters. Peralta, a little bit concerning the fact that he wasn't missing a ton of bats. I mean, you look at the starts from August 12th to August 22nd. All three of those games, he had less than a strikeout per inning, including a game against the St. Louis Cardinals. But it was nice to see him in that last game against San Francisco. 6 innings of shutout baseball with 8 strikeouts in a 5-3 Brewers win. And I think he pitches well in this game. And the Brewers have just played well against the Cardinals overall this season. They played 10 times this year, and the Brewers own this season series lead 7 games to 3. So I got to roll with the Brewers in this game. Palante's been better as of late. I do think Peralta, though, is the better starting pitcher. I think the Brewers have the better lineup and bullpen to go with it. Give me the Brewers in this game. Next up, the Chicago White Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. We've got Chris Flexen and Corbin Burnes on the mound. Now, we've mentioned the losing streak for Chicago with Chris Flexen as the starting pitcher. They have not won a single start of Chris Flexen since May 8th against the Tampa Bay Rays, and they've only won 2 of his starts all season, both of those against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's been the least profitable pitcher in baseball and on a big-time losing streak. However, I think if there was a game that the White Sox would win with Chris Flexen on the mound, this could be the one. I think it's a perfect storm for Chicago. I mean, first of all, Flexen's actually not been too bad recently. You look at his last 4 games, he's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in 3 of those 4, coming off a quality start against the Rangers, back-to-back quality starts against the Tigers and Rangers in those last 2 games. You got the fact that Corbin Burnes, who's an ace-level starting pitcher usually, is not really in good form right now. He gave up. We know he got crushed against the Boston Red Sox back on August 16th. He wasn't much better against the Astros the next start, giving up 5 earned runs in a 6-0 loss. And then the last game against the Dodgers, his defense didn't help him out, but he still gave up 6 runs. I mean, 5 of them were unearned, but 6 runs, 2 home runs, and only 4 strikeouts in 5 innings. Burnes is not in good form right now at all, and the Orioles have dropped his last 3 starts. Then you add to the fact that the Orioles are coming off a Coors Field series. We know, no days off in between. We know it's really difficult for those hitters and even the relievers to adjust to the altitude difference, especially because this is a quick turnaround for an afternoon game. It's not even a night game, which we're used to seeing on Monday, some night games. This is an early afternoon start. This is a brutal spot for Baltimore, and at this kind of price, I think the value does lie with Chicago. As much as it's difficult to take the White Sox with Flexen on the mound right now, I'm just going to take the 1.5 runs. It still opens the door for the Orioles to win this game by 1 run, continue that losing streak for Flexen. But I still think if there was a spot that the White Sox were going to win with Flexen on the mound, if it's not here, it's probably not going to be anywhere the rest of the season. So give me Chicago in this one plus the 1.5 runs. Next up, the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Kansas City Royals. We're going to see Gavin Williams and Michael Wacha on the mound. This is a huge series for both teams in the AL Central. Last week, these teams played in Cleveland, and it was a 4-game series. The Royals dominated that series. They took the first 3 games pretty easily. They were on their way to win that 4th game and sweep the series, but they blew a lead in the late innings. But I still like Kansas City in this first game. They've played well against Cleveland recently. Wacha pitched well against the Guardians early in that game. They tried to force him to go a little bit longer than he should have in that start, and that's why he gave up the 5 runs by the end of that outing. But I still think he's a solid option for KC here. The Royals were able to get to Gavin Williams for a couple of runs and a home run in the game on August 27th, which was a Royals win 6-1. The Guardians have lost 4 of his last 5 starts now. Give me the Royals in this game on the money line at Kauffman Stadium. Should be a great series. Next up, the Houston Astros taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Justin Verlander for Houston, no official starter for the Reds. Verlander's not in the best form right now, but the Reds as a team are not playing very good baseball, as we saw him play, ugly series against Milwaukee. They weren't much better in the previous series against Oakland. They're one of the rare teams in Major League Baseball that have a better record on the road than they do at Great American at home. So for me, I got to roll with the Astros here. I think Verlander might not be perfect, but I think he'll be the better option by the end of this game. I mentioned for Sunday's video that the Reds bullpen was okay, but I mentioned that because their expected numbers are okay, but the ERA is still really steep. So I don't really love this Reds bullpen overall. I think the Astros are going to be able to get to them for a few runs, and I got to roll the Astros in this game on the money line and potentially the run line. Next up, the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jack Flaherty and Eduardo Rodriguez are your starters. Rodriguez, with him on the mound, the Diamondbacks are 4-0 this season, but he hasn't necessarily pitched that well. I mean, a 5.06 ERA, the expected numbers are a little shaky. He's given up quite, a lot of sharp contact, and I don't really love him in this spot. I mean, he's been able to win these games because the bats back him up, and he's also faced some weak lineups like the Guardians, Rockies, and Marlins recently. But now you're facing the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers get to him early and often, and Flaherty's a great option on the other side for LA. He wasn't the best in his first couple of starts with his new team, but I mean, a quality start last time out against the Orioles. I think Flaherty goes, 5-6 strong innings, and I like the Dodgers to win this game and potentially cover the run line. Next up, the Detroit Tigers taking on the San Diego Padres. No official starter for Detroit, but Joe Musgrove going for San Diego. And in his first month back from injury, Musgrove, really solid numbers, 1.66 ERA and 21 2/3. Looked like, we would like to see him miss some more bats, but he was really sharp for San Diego this month, and a quality start last time out against St. Louis. The Tigers have been more competitive just in general the last month or so, and we've seen them now, right flirting with an above 500 record, but they still are considered, in my opinion, one of the weaker lineups in the American League. So I think Musgrove's going to be able to have another quality start here, especially at Petco Park, where he's been better overall this season. And I think the Padres will be able to find the win in the end. So give me San Diego right now on the money line and run line at Petco Park. Next up, the Minnesota Twins taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Simeon Woods Richardson and Zach Littell as the starters. Littell's first start back since August 14th. Before the injury, he was pitching really well for Tampa Bay. One earned run or fewer in the previous 4 starts, and he faced a couple of tough lineups in that stretch. And also, Littell's been a lot better at Tropicana Field this year. On the road, an ERA above 5. At home, it goes to sub-3 in 76 innings. I think he's a good option, and, Woods Richardson was pitching really well at the beginning of his season, but now has started to regress a little bit. We saw 4 earned runs given up against Atlanta in that last game. He's gone 5 innings or less in 4 of his last 5 as well, and he's given up at least 1 home run in 4 straight outings. So I got to roll with the Rays in this one. They have a strong bullpen. I think they have the starting pitching advantage, even though I think the Twins lineup is superior. It hasn't been the best recently, so give me the Rays in this one on the money line. Next up, we'll go to Globe Life Field as the Yankees take on the Rangers. Garrett Cole and Andrew Heaney are your starters. Andrew Heaney facing his former team. He also faced them back on August 11th. Really wasn't the best outing for him. He gave up 4 total runs. 3 of those were earned in only 4 2/3 innings with a couple of walks and a home run. And the key for Heaney, he's a strikeout-dependent guy who's got to right around a strikeout per inning this season, but he also has control issues at times in his career and so far this year. And the Yankees, that's exactly what they're looking for against a left-handed pitcher. They have a very low strikeout rate and a high walk rate against lefties this year. So I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that and really raise that pitch count for Heaney early in this start, get him out of that game, and then go after that Rangers bullpen, which has been one of the weaker bullpens in baseball in the last month or so in terms of the expected numbers. So I think the Yankees get to Heaney and the Rangers bullpen. I think Garrett Cole bounces back from not so great outing against the Nationals. He's still been a great option for New York in the last month or so. I'm going to roll with the Yankees in this one on the run line. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Seattle Mariners. Logan Gilbert and Osvaldo Bido are your starters. I got to roll with the A's in this one. I mean, the A's are 4-0 in Bito's last 4 starts. The Mariners are 1-4 in Gilbert's last 5 starts. And Bito has been able to keep the ball on the ground. He's limiting sharp contact. No home runs given up his last 5 starts. He's missing some bats, and his control's been a little bit better. He's given up 2 base hits or less in 3 of his last 4 starts. And, Gilbert has been better at home than he's on the road. A 2.35 ERA at T-Mobile Park, but it goes up to 3.81 when he's on the road. That last road start against the Dodgers gave up 6 earned runs and a loss. The Mariners' offense is super inconsistent. Give me the A's in this game on the money line. Next up, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets. We're going to see Brian Bayo and Luis Severino on the mound. Bayo had a strong August. He went 30 innings of 3 ERA ball. The Red Sox went 4-1 in his 5 starts, and now in the last 2 months, the Red Sox are 9-2 in Bayo's last 11 starts. He has been a very profitable pitcher this year. ERA is still steep on the season, but he knows how to win these games. And Severino's also been a pretty profitable pitcher for New York, but we saw that last game, 4 earned runs given up against the Diamondbacks in 4 2/3. Gave up a couple of home runs. He's just been very inconsistent. We saw 2 outstanding outings against the Marlins and the Padres on August 17th and the 22nd. But before that, he gave up 4 earned runs apiece against the Rockies and the Mariners. So we don't really know what we're going to see from Severino in this game. The Red Sox are a tough lineup. I think the Red Sox take this game. So I'm going to go with Boston on the money line. Next up, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago Cubs, the final game for the Monday card in Major League Baseball. We got Jared Jones and Jameson Taillon as the starters. Taillon, when he was matched up against the Nationals, he was originally supposed to go on Sunday against Washington. Didn't love the matchup because he's been struggling on the road this season, but now he's able to pitch at Wrigley Field in this game. I think it's a much better matchup for him, even though he struggled a little bit against the Pirates that last game. I mean, when you look at Taillon's numbers, he's got a 4.72 ERA on the road. It's sub-3 at Wrigley Field, though, and when you look at his recent struggles in August, he had 4 bad outings in August. 3 of those 4 were on the road. He only had one bad outing at Wrigley Field, and I think he's going to be much sharper here. We know Jared Jones' first start back from injury was not great. The Cubs' offense has been off the charts right now against righties and lefties, so I got to roll the Cubs in this game on the money line and potentially the run line as well. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comment section below. And again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.